Alright, we're going to do a tutorial on the eye retouching as well as skin retouching. So by now you should have the file or the folder that's called Retouching Kit Tutorial Files. In there you're going to find a folder that's called Downloads Curaden. Inside there is a folder called Downloads, and then Downloads that has your actions, your brushes, and your color swatches, which you're going to need to load into Photoshop. So when you open up Photoshop, you're going to go to the window. You're going to open up the Actions palette, and what we're going to do is we're going to load the actions. So we're going to go over here to the right hand side, go to Load Actions, and you're going to find the actions in that particular folder. So let me drill down to that folder. Right there where it says Actions, and we're going to install Dave's Beauty Action Kit. Alright, and we're going to hit Open, and it's going to install those actions. Now we want to do the same with brushes and color swatches. When we go to brushes, we're just going to go to Window again, Brushes, and we're going to install them. Okay, and the way to install them is to hit Brush Presets, and then go to Load Brushes. And again, we're going to go to the brushes, and we're going to load this particular one, DC's Eye Retouching Brushes. And then you're going to hit Open, and the brushes are going to be loaded. Same thing with the color swatches. So we're going to go to Swatches, and we're going to load the swatches. And the only one that you need to load is the one that is called DC's Beauty Kit All Color Swatches. So you select that and hit Open. Okay, and then when you scroll down to the bottom, you should see ones that are divided up into things like skin tones, where it says DC Skin Tone Swatches below, and then some different makeups, such as eyeshadow, blushes, and lips. So we're going to basically be painting on makeup and hair and accenting those things. So that's basically the tools that you need to have loaded for us to do this tutorial. Alright, so now that we have our image up, we're going to run the first action. And the one that we're going to run is going to be the second one, which is Dave's Eye Retouching Action, which creates the layers only. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to click on Run. And what that's going to do is it's going to build a layer group in the background. And it's going to put all the layers that we need to complete the eye retouching in there. Okay, so there's our layer group right there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do it in the order that they appear. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to clean up the eyes. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look for any sort of imperfections that are usually in the whites of the eyes. Okay. Alright, so let's just do that here. Okay, so I mean, you can use whatever tool you want. You can use the clone stamp, you can use, it doesn't matter, the healing brush, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly just use the clone tool, and we're going to go over here, and we're going to select the clone tool. Okay. Then I'm going to just sample some areas, and I'm going to quickly just clean up a few of these things. Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I'd spend a lot more time if I was really focusing on this, but for tutorial purposes, this is just fine. Okay, so if we look at it on and off, we'll see the difference between the cloned eye and the other one. So let's just look at that here. There's the before, there's the after. We just took a little bit out of there, no big deal. Okay, so the next we're going to do is we're going to do the catch light remove or fix. So what we're going to do is we have catch lights in our eyes, but we're going to remove them, and we're going to add in other ones later. So let's just focus on the one eye. You're going to do two eyes, of course, but we'll just focus on the one eye here. So what we're going to do is we're going to just, again, use whatever tool you want, but if you want to do clone stamp, you can use that as well. And then what we can do is we can just clone out as much of the catch light as possible. And again, I'd be spending more time on this and doing a better job on it if I was spending a lot of time on this one. Okay. Okay, just for our sake, this is fine. Again, I'd probably clone all this out in this section here, and I would worry about the pupil more, but we're going to add another pupil in, so it doesn't really make a difference. But here's the catch light removed and the before and after. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're just going to generally brighten the eyes, okay? So what's happened here is there's a curves adjustment that has brightened up just the highlights. So we're going to just do that. We're going to paint that in using the layer mask. So we'll use the white brush, and then we're just going to paint right in there. Okay, brush is a little big here. Okay. Okay, and we're just going to lighten it up. Okay, sorry, want a much softer brush than that. Okay, that's pretty good. And then we're just going to brighten that eye up. It's pretty good. So here's the difference here. Okay, so the next we're going to do is we're going to reduce the redness. So again, all that's happened here is if you go into the hue saturation and you go to reds, the saturation has been pulled out of the reds. That's it. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab that brush again and we're going to paint in some of the areas where the redness might appear. Now she doesn't have a lot of redness here, but we'll just paint that in. Okay, to make the eyes look a little cleaner. This doesn't, you don't want a lot of this. You still want the eyes to look natural, but we'll pull some out here. Okay, let's see if we can tell the difference right here. Yeah, it's pretty subtle. If she had much more redness, we would see a lot more here. Okay, the next is the pupil. We're going to add a pupil using the brush. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stamp a pupil that's around the same size as the pupil on there. And we're going to stamp that with black. So we're going to take this and we're going to just put a new pupil in. Okay, so what we've done is we've taken the old pupil out, put a new pupil in. Okay, now this again is the iris, which is this part of the eye right here. What we're going to do is we're going to use another hue saturation layer, and this has bumped up all the saturation. So what we can do is we can increase the saturation and change the eye color if we want to the iris. So we'll just paint on here again just to enhance the color. Okay, and again, you can use the opacity to change it. It's now set at 80%, but you could change it to something else if you wanted to. So that's a pretty remarkable difference between the eyes. Okay, and if you wanted to change the eye color, you would just go in here and change the hue to various colors. Whatever you want. You want a little deeper blue. A little deeper blue looks nice. We'll stick with that. And then what we'll do is we'll change the opacity so it looks a little more natural. All right, let's check it out. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, the iris ring, this is this part right around here. And what we want to do is we want to clean that up and we want to make that a little darker. So what we're going to do is we're going to stamp on there. Okay, we're going to go bigger than the actual eye. Okay, around the same eye size as the iris, okay? A little bit bigger. And when we stamp that, we're going to overshoot it, of course. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're going to, let me undo that there. Let me show you again. Okay. Oops. All right, let's do that again. We're going to overshoot it. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to then feather some out. Okay, so now that's way too much. So what we'll do is we'll take some out of there and we're going to paint some back in. So what we'll do is we'll go to the brush here and we'll get all the areas here which it's hit from me overshooting it a little bit. Okay, and then we'll bring this back in here just to leave that section out there a little darker. I could have also used a dodge and burn layer, would have done a similar thing. Okay. So again, we've just taken that iris ring and we've darkened it down so it looks a little nicer. Okay, now we're going to create the catch light. This is where we're going to use a brush, one of the brushes that we loaded. So all we're going to do is we're going to open our brushes palette, go to Window, go to Brushes, and we're going to look down to the different brush presets, and we're going to look down at the catch light ones that are here. Okay, and there's a bunch of them. Ones that can look like window lights, one that can look like standard catch lights, one that'll look like soft boxes, one that'll look like little rings. We can do a bunch of them. Let's just take one that looks like a window here, 4-pane window. Okay, now it's obviously a little big here, so we're going to shrink the size of the brush. And we can also shrink it using free transform. And let's add a catch light in here. Okay, we'll stamp it. We got to stamp it with white here, of course. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to change the opacity of that so it looks more natural. Okay, and we can move it around if we want. Until we feel it looks more natural. Oops. Okay. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, that's where we're going to leave that one right now. Okay, now the moon. The moon comes underneath the eye right here, and we're going to add a moon in again, just the same way that we did with a custom brush. So we'll go back to our brushes, and we'll add the moon in. And the moon, as I said, sits underneath the eye. So we'll go into here. Okay, and we're going to look for the moon here.